homemade pretzel buns with butter, ham, and brie. We're gonna get started with our pretzel buns. And I'm so excited to show these to you guys because they're so crazy easy. The very first time I had a pretzel bun was in the late 80s. We went to Paris, of all places, to shoot the opening credits for Café American. It was the best pretzel bun I think I've ever had in my whole life. Might have something to do with Paris, but I wanted to recreate that. We're gonna start with some yeast and some warm water, just enough to really help the yeast bloom. And this is just one packet, which is 2 1/4 teaspoons. Just gonna wake up the yeast, put that to the side. While the yeast wakes up, we're gonna put all the dry ingredients together. We use 3 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. This is 3, and then we need 1/4. To our flour, we are going to add a teaspoon of salt. So our yeast is bloomed, it's very pretty, a little bubbly on top. And to that yeast, we're gonna get some butter, a tablespoon, and then we'll save the rest that's gonna get brushed on top of the rolls. This goes straight in and get that mixed up. Oh, look, okay, the dough is really starting to come together. It's kind of shaggy. And when I mean shaggy, it looks kind of sticky and gluey, and that's the time to start kneading it. I'm gonna get a little bit of flour so that the dough doesn't stick to the board, and get the dough right on your surface where you're gonna knead. So much happened on Café American. Ed even made a little appearance in one of the openings. He played a street musician that I couldn't get to leave the bar. Just get yourself in there, get kneading. You want this bread to come alive. And as it gets sticky, just add more flour. And you really wanna add the flour a little bit at a time. You don't wanna overwhelm it. So you just wanna get this dough to get nice and springy. I can feel it giving away. Get it into a little ball. Just give it a little poke, make sure it comes back. Yep, get it into your bowl, cover, and we're just gonna give that a little time to rise. About an hour, a nice warm spot. Baking soda, that's the next step. We got some water here, bring it up to a boil. This is the step that turns bread into pretzels. We dip the buns in the water and the baking soda, and it's gonna make the bread really crispy and crunchy when it goes into the oven, and the inside is gonna stay beautifully tender. This is about a 1/2 cup. We're gonna dip the buns in here, put them on a sheet tray, get a little butter and salt on top of them, and stick them in the oven. Let's look at our dough. Beautiful. It's almost doubled in size. You can even feel how much more airy the dough has gotten. Just gonna get a little flour on there so it doesn't get too sticky. Just get it into 8 pieces, that's all we need. So you take your bench scraper, a knife, whatever, cut it in quarters, and then cut those quarters in half, and you got 8 pieces. And then just roll them into little round balls. It's one of my favorite parts about baking is playing with your food. Time for the baking soda bath. So what we can do is you can get about 4 of these in, just get them barely coated, let them simmer for 20 seconds on each side. Then you wanna turn it over, plop. They puff up slightly and then they're ready to come out. We've got one more step. Turn this off. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a little relief in here. We're gonna get a little X on each guy. This is gonna help the air escape. It's always a little bit easier to use a serrated knife on this because you can already feel there's a crust starting to happen on the buns. And then let's get a little butter on top of these guys. So we've got the crosses in our buns, we've got the butter on our buns, one final step. Now I don't happen to have any pretzel salt in the house, so we're gonna add a little flake salt to the top, because what's a pretzel without salt? Now they go into the oven at 400 degrees for about 25-30 minutes. Pretzel buns are out of the oven and they smell amazing. You can feel how crispy and crunchy. This is my little homage to Café American, the first time I ever tried a pretzel bun Sammy. We'll get a little ham on here. Now a little bit of brie, arugula, that's gonna add a nice little peppery bite, and then top it right off. Look at that. And you can say, I made that bun. I'm in Paris. I don't know where you guys are. I'm in Paris. That's a crazy good Sammy. The top of this pretzel bun, the way it crunches,